The student body should reflect the diversity of our populations. This means we need to enable students to complete their studies without obstacles related to their social and economic background. To achieve this, we need to continue our efforts to provide adequate student services, create more flexible learning pathways into higher education and within higher education, and to widen participation at all levels on the basis of equal opportunity.
Inclusion is a topic that is much discussed in our societies, but how much is being put into practice, and what needs to be done in the next few years?
How do you include educational inclusion in your country?
We are acting in line with the inclusion strategic documents. These documents are strategic directions of higher education and development, which include the social dimension of higher education, then priorities for higher education development in Bosnia and Herzegovina over a period of 2016 to 2026, saying that the financing system should be based also on the social dimension of higher education. The third document is the strategy for advancement of rights and position of persons with disabilities in Bosnia and Herzegovina 2016-2021, with a specific goal 3, that persons with disabilities in all areas of life, equally with others, especially in the area of education and culture, should be in public and political action. Our programs for inclusion in higher education are as follows: student loans, program including social dimension, subsidies for students from underdeveloped cantons and Republika Srpska, support for Roma and students with disabilities, scholarships and support projects on improvement of inclusiveness of preschool and primary education, then support to Roma mediators or assistance to increase the number of Roma children in education, especially primary education, then support of training and long life learning of teachers and preschool and primary and high education teachers.
Capacity building projects, preferably EU funded, in cooperation with the ministry and higher education institutions in Bosnia and Herzegovina, crosses my mind at first. Grants that would improve and or maintain facilities.
How will you be able to support universities in implementing inclusive programs?
Through workshops and support to projects and NGOs dealing with inclusion in higher education.
Well, one way is definitely awareness raising. This is very important. It's an important aspect of contributing to inclusion issues in higher education in Bosnia and Herzegovina, perhaps one of the first steps towards facing the implementation challenges. The subliminal messages sent to the wider public targeting the relevant stakeholder groups are also very effective. So awareness-raising campaigns in collaboration with the ministry should become a practice.
How do you see inclusion initiatives developing in your country in the next 4 to 5 years?
We, as the ministry, can participate in the preparation of documents related to the development of inclusion and coordinate activities and possibly finance projects related to the implementation and continue our current programs financing inclusion activities.
Inclusion in BiH was always mainly connected to people with the physical disabilities. It is good that we have opened a chapter with new inclusion population, and I expect a lot of activities and research supported by ministries and all other relevant stakeholders in this path.
What have you learned from participating in the inclusion project?
We have learned a lot from European countries, how they are tackling and implementing various inclusive methodologies in higher education.
A lot, actually. The research conducted by Bosnian and Herzegovinian partners defined and revealed some inclusive groups I never thought of as being vulnerable. I have an entirely different perception of inclusion in the realms of higher education.